Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
Innovation brings big success to small business. And in this episode today, we're going to unpack exactly why innovation applied to your small business can create really big commercial results. And when it comes to it, we're also going to be revealing some of the secrets and some of the powerful techniques when it comes to innovation that you can use in order to make that innovation journey and transformation to success start right here, right now. And the number one reason why we really need innovation, when you think about it, is basically competition. I mean, let's face it, there is more competition today than there ever has been before. And it seems like every day there's a new competitor who wants to compete, sell your exact same product, sell the exact same service to exactly the same customer. So how do we compete when there are so many people competing against us? And that's exactly why we need innovation, because innovation gives us differentiation. With innovation, what we can do is we can differentiate ourselves by changing our positioning. And from changing our positioning, then when we add the innovation type thinking, we can start to add value that increases whether it's the product, whether it's the service or the experience that we're offering from our customers. And if we really think about competition, we think of it almost like a sea of competitors out there. Innovation also helps us because what it does is it acts almost as a beacon that draws in many ways, the response or a remark from our customers. And the reality is when it comes to thinking about what our customers say about us, they often actually don't say a lot. They usually say things when it's something remarkable. And the unfortunate reality is there are so many people competing in what it is that we do day in, day out, that it's so easy to fall into the stage of just being beige. We look just like everyone else. And so if we need to look at ways of becoming more successful, one of the things that we really want to do is look at how do we become remarkable. I mean, let's face it, if you think about business, there are two things that people will talk about. They'll either talk about what you suck at, or they'll actually say, this is something that we do amazingly well. And that is that they make a remark. So if you want to look at ways that you can improve your business, and what we do with innovation is we go, well, how can we apply innovation so that we can discover what's remarkable about what we do so people do start talking about us? And if there isn't anything remarkable about what we do, then we start to look at generating ideas to make our products, make our service, or make our customer experience that much more remarkable. It's that simple. One of the other reasons why we really need innovation for small business in particular is it's about being able to anticipate what a customer demands before they even ask for it. And I reckon if we went around and asked everyone who's watching this episode right now, we'd probably find out that a lot of you guys are delivering what a customer needs. And what sets off, one innovative business to another is this ability to really understand not just the core needs, but some of these peripheral needs that a customer might need. And where we can really get innovative is by understanding that a customer not only has needs, they also have desires. And for every desire, they've got an aversion. That is the things that they want to avoid. So if we're really serious about growing our business, we need to understand how innovation can help us understand what a customer not only needs, but desires and what they want to avoid. That's where the gold of innovation often happens. And it's in this space and place where we generate insights. And if you're not familiar with the term of insights, insights in many ways is a tool that enables us to help innovating. Let me use this analogy as an example. If we're going to go fishing, the fish is the ultimate goal. So let's say that's the success of our ideas and our great innovation. And you may be familiar that a lot of fishermen use something called a depth sounder. Now, a depth sounder doesn't actually catch fish for you. What it does is it sends out its signals into the water. It goes, there are fish under your boat or in this vicinity. It doesn't catch the fish for you, but what it does say is this is where the fish are. And so insights in many ways is a way of determining this is where your best ideas and your best innovations will be to create world-class products or world-class service for your customers. Bottom line is innovation helps you discover these insights that lead to great ideas that lead to great commercial innovations. That's why innovation is so important for small business. Now, one of the other reasons why we want to think about this innovation for small business is that customers do have a choice. They have a choice to select or use something that you could say is substandard. They've got the choice to use something that I guess is just ordinary, just like every other competitor out there. Or they can choose to purchase something that is extraordinary. And that's what innovation does. It gives our people the opportunity to look beyond just what everyone else is doing, but give them an offering that's just noticeably that much more remarkable and outstanding that people just can't wait to go out there and purchase it. Innovation drives success in business. So what else? And why else would we want to consider using innovation? Well, innovation in many ways is one of the cornerstones to great design. And if you just look at an organization, say someone like Apple, you just can't help but go past their amazing quality design. And the reason why design is just so popular for so many customers out there at the moment is that design creates desire. And innovation is what creates amazing design. Now, design doesn't necessarily have to be limited to a product. You might think, but I'm an accountant and I offer a service that does X, Y, and Z. Innovation and great design can be applied to designing an amazing customer experience. Great design can be applied to the graphics, to the communication, to the packaging of the things that we do, of the briefing rooms or our meeting rooms. Innovation can be applied in design in products, process, and service. That's why we want innovation, because that's what drives big commercial return. So that's one reason that I think is really important. But the other one is, right now you might be thinking about, but what about this whole concept of promotion? You know, surely it's all about marketing and promoting. And yeah, it's obvious that being visible to clients where previously we were invisible makes total sense. You know, we want to be seen, and promotion obviously can make that happen. But promotion alone does not improve us. It might announce us to the world. This is what you guys do, and we're amazing at what it is that we do. But it's not necessarily going to get everything out there. What we want to do is look at how can we apply innovation in order to improve the value that we add, whether it's through a product or whether it's through a service to our customers. One last thing is this whole reason to why we want to apply innovation to a small business. And I guess this kind of comes down to this whole concept of expectations. Because expectation in business for customers is always changing. And often I think it's increasing. You know, what was acceptable 3 years ago is no longer acceptable now. And what happens in 3 years is the expectations are going to be even higher. And this is a really good way, this model, to understand and get this whole concept of understanding how expectations and the experience we can create for customers is so important. So let's say, for example, we create a service. Let's say we're an accountant and we create a service. So a customer comes to us, they want a tax return done, we do the tax return. It's something that's expected, and then inevitably we do the transaction. What happens is it becomes unforgettable because everyone else is doing the same thing. If we take it a step further, let's say, for example, the customer comes to us and says, well, we don't just need a tax return done, we actually need a little bit of strategic advice as to what we might be doing with this property investment that we've got. Where should we do? What should we be doing for our superannuation fund? And so when the client has actually requested something, we go out or the accountant goes out and delivers it, what happens is we've had an interaction. And so the customer is more than likely going to remember that customer experience, which is good. But where we can really make some inroads, and this is where this innovation really starts to happen, is, yeah, we do something that's expected. we go beyond that, we do something that's requested, but then we think, you know what would really help out this customer might be giving them some sort of personal budgeting plan, some ways that they can make the most of the money that they're already earning. So I'm going to share a little strategic budgeting advice for this customer and see what goes on. And I might do a few other little bits and pieces. So it's totally unexpected, but it's a massive value add. So what happens? In the customer's eye, it becomes unforgettable in terms of an experience. And this is where we can get great commercial success simply by thinking innovatively and applying it for small business. Okay, so I've given you a couple of the whys, but you might be still thinking, but innovation, surely it's only for product. Now, this is a real big, myth, because innovation can be applied on product, it can be applied on process, it can be applied on service, and it can even be applied on sales. And understanding this concept is really crucial because many of our biggest innovations can happen around process. And this is one of the first areas I actually want to start to talk to you today about a how-to innovation process. And it's based on business process mapping. Now, if you were to think about, one process that pretty much every, you'd say small to medium-sized and even large organization in the planet will use, it's a business meeting. And if we were to look at what could we do to do it better, this is one of the fundamental steps of innovation. Because it's no point saying, I just want to be innovative unless you know where do you want to apply. Do you want to apply the innovation on the customer service? Do you want to apply the innovation on accounts? Do you want to apply the innovation on the product or the packaging? Know what it is that you do in order to do it better. So let's imagine we were going to map out the humble office or team meeting. And you can imagine for every touch point that we go through in this experience, you've got things like, let's determine the objectives of our meeting. Maybe we're going to create an agenda. Maybe we're going to arrange the meeting itself. Maybe we're going to research some materials and then conduct the meeting. Now, you can imagine if you had a mouse and did a double click on each one of these touch points, you'd probably get a few more. So what? You might be thinking, now that you know what it is that you do in some of those core steps, you could say, well, I've never really thought about how we conduct our team meeting. Never really thought about where it is in terms of location. I've never thought about actually, creating an agenda with our client when we work with them face to face. Could we do it? Maybe we should get rid of it. I always thought that we feel a bit tired when we run our meetings. Maybe we could do it standing up because at the moment we're sitting down. Know what it is that you do in order to do it better. Okay, let me give you a commercial example of this, of a small business that's used a lot of this thinking to become a big commercial success story and a much bigger business in the actual activities of doing this. And Icebreaker New Zealand is the business I want to speak to you about. Now, Icebreaker is an organisation that make these kind of things. It's sort of jackets to keep you nice and warm and woolly and warm in winter and the tough times. Now, Icebreaker said to themselves, we've got to know what it is that we do so we can do it better. And so what they started to do was map out the steps that they do in things from the start all the way through to the finish. And as they started to map out this supply chain, they got really, really excited. And one of the reasons why they got excited is they realized that just through doing and mapping out what it is that they do, they realized they were doing things that their competitors weren't. Because their competitors were buying fleece for their jackets from a distributor. Big deal, you might be thinking. Now, it is a big deal if you put yourself in their shoes and for their market. Now, remember, think of their market, sort of outdoor eco-warriors, people that want to climb the Himalayas and save the world and hug trees and everything like that. So being Kiwis and understanding this whole concept of, know what it is that you do it better, and knowing that there was something unique about mapping out what they did, they went out and they came up with the idea of a barcode. Now, obviously, we know our New Zealand friends love sheep, but what they do is they stitch in a unique code into each garment that's made by Icebreaker. So what happens is the customer discovers this code and then punches it in on the website, right? Okay, 6789 is the unique code, bang. And straight away they're taken to a video with an interview with Mr. Smith from North Queenstown, who was the farmer of the sheep that grew the wool of the garment you're actually wearing. And straight away, the customer starts to discover really unique things about it. They understand that there's a unique animal husbandry, a love for animals.
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.